Well, hello everybody and welcome to week 3. I am crossing my fingers and hoping that nothing goes wrong with this video. Between Facebook not allowing it to upload and then when I tried to upload it to my week three's video, trying to upload it to YouTube and getting told there's an error with the file. I need to re-record it, so I'm sorry about that. I have not gotten to that, but this is week 4 of the 4 weeks of homemade Christmas. This week I am focusing on projects that include the Sweetest Star bundle, which comes with the stamp set and the punch. Sorry, I didn't have the punch up here. When I planned these 4 weeks, this bundle was still available. It is currently on back order, and last I looked, it was going to be available on Tuesday, December 2nd. So I'm hoping that shortly after I get this video uploaded, that these products are available. Again, this is the Sweetest Star bundle. It comes with the stamps, the cute little gingerbread guy, and then Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, and then we have some nice sentiments, and then a pretty little snowflake pattern, and then it comes with the stamp, or sorry, the punch, so that you can punch out the shapes there. And if you're a Nightmare Before Christmas, a lot of people are using this for Oogie Boogie, so just to put that out there. I'm also using the Take a Bow. It's called Take a Bow paper. It comes in a bundle as well where you can make the bows. And I have that die. I just haven't made a bow with it yet, but it does, I've seen it make some pretty little bows, but I liked the paper. I just thought the paper was just perfect for Christmas. So we've got several sheets of the paper, and the colors are Real Red, Garden Green, and Granny Apple Green. So there we've got that sheet. We've got this pretty sheet. Love those dots of all the colors, and then nice little sparkles, some little holly leaves, and then candy canes. So those are the products that I am using for this week. So my first project that I made, I was wanting to do stuff that you could maybe make for coworkers, or just little gifts on the tree if you wanted to. And so this is a little hot cocoa bag. This is, you could even do craft fairs, and I'm sure that everybody is doing is done with their craft fairs for the winter, the Christmas season. But this is kind of a big item on the craft fairs, and I've just got a little cellophane bag that I got these at Walmart, and it was like $1.72 for all of those. A lot of people are getting them at the dollar store, which is now a $1.25 store, but so whichever place you want to go. And it's just a cute little envelope that I put a little candy cane in. There's the hot cocoa bag, and then I've got a little hot chocolate, or a little chocolate in there to go. And then on the front, I have May Your Days Be Merry and Bright. So there are 2 ways that you can make this. If you have the envelope punch board from We Are Memory Keepers, or any envelope punch board, you could do that with this. And I will go ahead and I will make one really quick with that. So you just take your board, and I'm going to do it at 3 inches all the way around. So we'll do it really quick. I'll show you how to do it on your board. You punch the little notch out, and then you follow along with the score. And again, this is kind of thin paper, so you don't want to score too heavy. But then you turn it to the left, and you go back on the 3 again, or you line this little notch here up with your previous score. Since this is 6 by 6, we're going to go 3 it all the way around, so it's going to fit. Yeah, if you line it up, it's going to line up with where you need to go. So that's the second one. We're going to turn it to the left once again. Put it on 3, make our notch, and put our score mark. And we're going to turn it to the left once again. This time we're not going to score, but we are going to do our notch, because this is going to be the top of our envelope. So then we are going to go ahead and round it with the little rounder on top. So that is with the envelope maker, which makes it really simple. I like my envelope maker. I do use it quite a bit. So like I said, we didn't score along this line, but I'm going to turn it to this way actually. So then we can just fold our sides in on the score marks, and you can have your bottom flap in or bottom flap out. And then we're going to use our tape to tape it up. Now I'm going to use my tear and tape. You can use your adhesive, whichever one you want to use. So I'm going to put that right along the edge here. Okay. And then right along the edge here. And tear it just like it says. Go ahead and rub that in really well. And then I'm going to put the tear tape just about there. Okay. Rub that in pretty good. Tear it off. Okay. And there we have our cute little envelope that we can take our nice little hot cocoa packet, slip it down inside of there, put our candy cane in there, and then our chocolate. So that's that. Now I also did make a belly band. And I like to know the size of things, so I have my sewing measuring tape, and I took that and measured around to see how big I needed that belly band to be. So 8.5 inches is going to work great. So I'm going to get a piece of my Granny Apple Green, and I am going to make a belly band. So let me go grab that. Okay, so I've got my Granny Apple Green, and 8.5 inches is going to work great going around it. So I'm just going to cut a little strip of the Granny Apple Green. I'm going to go ahead and cut just about 1 inch. See there? So I'm just going to cut 1 inch of that off at the end. I think that'll be a good width for a belly band. So we'll put that off to the side. Okay, now we'll bring our piece up here, and again, if you want to, maybe you can either wrap it around, and that might work just as fine, or you can score it, whichever you feel more comfortable doing. I'll go ahead and just wrap it around, and I'm going to wrap it in the front because I'm going to put the cute little design in the front. So that little design is going to cover that up. So I will go ahead and just use a bit of adhesive on that, and I'll put it on there again so I know where I'm going to mark that adhesive. So just need a little bit of adhesive on there. Did I get that? Nope. Kind of hard to see. I can't see if it took it over. It did. So we'll go ahead and wrap that around. And like I said, since my star is going to be, my little sentiment is going to be in the front, that's where I want that line to go. Okay, so now we are going to stamp our sentiment, and I'm going to use the garden green for the sentiment. So I will go ahead and open up my garden green. And I used the May Your Days Be Merry and Bright. I thought that was a good one to fit inside that star. So we'll put that on there. And so that you know that you're going to stamp right in the center of your star, you can go ahead and punch your star out. So I like to get that as much in the corner as I can. So there we have that star. Go ahead and stamp it. Want to get my little foam pad out. Okay, so now we'll just stamp that right in the middle of that star. There we go. Nice, beautiful green. Okay, and then I also used and I thought I had him over here, a sponge dauber, and I went around the edges. There it is. I went around the edges of the star just to kind of, I guess, blend it in better. So I just took my little sponge dauber and I went around the edges. And I'm also using that garden green still. Sometimes I forget that the camera doesn't follow me, so yeah, I just took that little sponge dauber and just went around the edges with the garden green. I will go ahead and close that up. So also with this one, I used that star punch and I punched out another one of the DSPs. So since I've got that pretty pattern and then that pattern's inside of it, well, I think that one will go okay. We'll go ahead and we'll use the pretty red pattern. I think that'll go around there nicely. Okay. So, and then I just took that star and I just offset it so that it looks like that. And so I'll just go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive here. And then I will kind of center that star up there. And then I actually used dimensionals on that. You could use dimensionals or you could use adhesive, but I also did go around it with some of this the frayed ribbon, and it's in the white, so we'll just take that and wrap that around. Grab my scissors to cut that. Okay. And again, since I'm going to be hiding the seam there in front, I'll go ahead and put the seam in front here as well. And I may be able to actually cut that a little shorter. Because I do want to hide it behind there. So there. Okay, and you can just use some adhesive on that, or tear and tape. If tear and tape will work better for you, that would work too. I'm going to go ahead and lay it down so I can put some adhesive on the front of that. There. And then just wrap it around. And there you go. Okay, now we'll put the dimensionals on the back of the star. And so I don't really want any kind of above that line. We'll just kind of put them down the center. Okay. Get the backings off those dimensionals. And there we go. Now, of course, you could take that out and that would be a lot easier to press down. I kind of wanted those in there so that I'd know that the ribbon wasn't going to be too tight around it. But there, that way you can put everything in there. Now, for the packets, they come, I feel they look like they're upside down because the part where you're supposed to tear is at the bottom. But if it's all pushed there in the bottom, it's a little hard, and then that makes that stand up a little bit too far, I feel. So I kind of shook it all down, fold that bottom up, and then I kind of evened it out a little bit more to get it into the little envelope easier, because they didn't want to go just the way they are right out of the box. So there we go. And then, you, like I said, you can put them in these little cellophane bags so that they look, I guess, a little more professional. And then I had used some of the iridescent ribbon to tie around the top, just to give it a cute little topper. And that ribbon is, I don't know, it's just very sparkly and looks like snow. But there you go. So you've got that cute little gift you could give. Now, if you do not have the punch board, let me show you how you can do it the same. Not exactly the same, but you can still make one. If you have any kind of a scoreboard, you can try this. And what I did was, and I'm going to show you with an old piece of DSP. You take your I won't show you with an old piece of DSP because I've already got it cut. Go ahead and take your 6x6, and I've already marked my scoreboard where I need to set it, because you're going to set it at your corners, the top and bottom corners, at 4 1/4. And how I figured this was, I took one of the punch board ones that I had cut out, and I laid it down where my corners were, and 4 1/4 is where it matched up. And then my score matched up at 2 3/8. So go ahead and lay your corners in that 4 1/4 spot, and I took a little piece of tape to mark it so that I could line it up. Like, I can see that one perfectly, but then when you get down there, it's hard to see. So I put a piece of tape where it had to go. And then the 2 3/4 mark is right there. So you just follow it down, and then again, kind of go lightly. Okay, so that's your first one. And then turn it to the left once. Again, line it up. 2 3/8. Bring your score down. Turn it to the left a third and last time. Okay, 2 3/8, and then bring it down. So there you have all of your score marks that you need. I still like to have the top of it rounded, so I do have my 1/2 inch corner rounder. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I just prefer the rounded look of the top. Now you can go ahead and fold it like this, or you can see your notch marks there, your fold marks, and it's kind of hard for me to get it. There you go. There's your fold marks where they lap over. Go ahead and just cut those out. And this is kind of like you're doing on the notching on the scoreboard. So and just do that on both bottoms here. So you just cut them up to where they meet. So like that. Okay, and then you just fold your flaps in like you did before. The biggest difference that you're going to have is that you're not going to have that little notch. This will show you perfectly side by side. See how this has a little notch on the top? The one that you do on your scoreboard isn't going to have that. But everything else fits just perfect. So you'll just tape it up on the sides like you did the other one and put the belly band around, and you've got the same little envelope. So I hope that helps with you if you don't have the punch board, the envelope maker. I like my little envelope maker because I can make all sorts of different little envelope sizes. So there is our first project. I hope you had fun making it, and I hope you think about making some for your coworkers, or even just some to put on your tree for any guests that come over to your house. And I will be back with the second project for the week. Well, welcome to project number 2 of week 4 of the 4 weeks of homemade Christmas. This one is a combination of a couple of treat bags that I saw a couple of different people make. Again, this would be a cute little thing to give to a coworker. A lot of these I saw were treat bags that were made for craft fairs and such. And this is just my variation of it. So again, these projects are used with the Sweetest Star bundle with the stamps, the punch, and then the Take a Bow paper. All those different beautiful patterns of paper. So let's get started with this one. Now, the first thing that I did was I used from the Greetings of the Season dies. I used that die to cut out 2 pieces of the pattern paper. I thought that made really good sides. So, and then you could use either side, whichever one, but it also puts that little hole in the top. So that was the first thing I did. Now, I then took my measuring tape like I usually do, and I kind of measured up the side to see. I felt that these were too flimsy to put by themselves. I wanted to have the cardstock to be kind of a backer. So I kind of measured them on the inside to see about how tall maybe I wanted a piece of paper. And I thought that 2 inches would be a good height, because that would, you could still see the pattern on the inside, and it would hold it pretty well. See how that goes up the side? And then I just kind of, the guess was a lot of them were about 1 inch wide to fit. Like this one has 3 little Ghirardelli chocolates in there. So what I did was I took a piece of the Real Red and I cut it at, like I said, I wanted it to be about 2 inches up the sides, 2.5. So I just took a sheet of 6-inch paper. That's what I figured would work. So I took 6 inches, and then I scored them in at about 2.5 on both sides. So that's what I did there. Now I then wanted a piece to be able to hold those sides in. So with my little trusty measuring piece of paper, I kind of measured that. I know I wanted them to be 1 inch wide, and then I wanted them to be enough so that they would stick on the insides. So I took a piece at 2 inches, and then I scored it at a half an inch on each side. So that gave me the inch in the middle. And I took and made 2 of those. So what we will do first is we will go ahead and put our fronts on. Now, like here, I think it'd be really pretty with the candy cane on the outside or the little hollies, either one. I kind of like the hollies because I like the green on the front. So I am going to go ahead and take my adhesive and I'm going to put the adhesive on the cardstock. So we'll go ahead and do that. I wonder if I'm coming to the end of my adhesive. Nope, it's just not wanting to come out all the way for me. So we'll go ahead and do that. And you kind of want to put it just, I guess I didn't let you guys know that. The width is, it's not quite all the way, because the width of this piece is 2.5, but I didn't want it to go all the way to 2.5. So I just did up to 2 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eighths. And so the paper is 2 7/8 wide. Because I didn't want it, I wanted to be sure that it didn't go over the edge of this pretty little pattern paper. So 2 7/8 wide. And I will, if you're on my newsletter or email list, you'll get the measurements in the newsletter tomorrow. So there we go. And like I said, I did that just so that it didn't go over the sides. So there we have our cute little treat bag. And you could just do like that if you wanted to. I liked having the sides so that it would hold the treats in. So I'll go ahead and put adhesive on the edges. And those edges are going to go right at the bottom and on the inside. So we'll do that. I'm surely having heck with that. Okay. Now we'll put the adhesive on these. Okay, there we go. And then these are going to fit in on the inside here. So you kind of want to just fold it in. You want to make sure that it does go to the edge. And I had an easier time doing this when I wasn't on camera, and that's how it always is. Things don't always want to go together very well when you're on camera. But there you go. So you just make a little box bottom. So there is our little treat holder, and like I said, I've got the Ghirardelli chocolates, and 3 of them will fit in there just fine. They fit in there great. So, and then you can tie it closed. Now, I also wanted to decorate it. So I'm using the cute little Santas, and I just stamped a bunch of Santas on there, and then I colored them. I would show you how I color, but I shake really bad, so I don't feel like showing you guys how I color. But I will show you the colors that I used. For his Santa suit, I used the blends, and I used the dark red, the dark real red and the light real red. I used that on his Santa suit. I went through the light real red, and then I used the dark red to kind of go along the outlines. And then for his boots and his mittens and his belt, I used the light basic black. So I used that for his mittens and his boots and his belt. For his skin tone, I used, it's just the medium light color. So I used that for his skin tone. And then for his cheeks, I used the light Pretty in Pink, and I just did a little dot for his cheeks. It's kind of hard to see. And for his belt, that part of his belt, I used the light pecan pie for the clasp of his belt. And then I did use a little bit of the light smoky gray to do like a little shadow under his beard. But that's how I colored my Santa. So then we will just punch him out. So, and I colored him, punched or stamped him, and that right at the bottom. And before you, I will show you, when you stamp all your little images, see there, my shakes are really bad tonight. To stamp your images, you want to be sure and use the Memento Black. If you're going to be coloring in your images, you want to stamp them in the Memento Tuxedo Black, and then just kind of set them off to dry. I mean, you can stamp right away, and they usually won't smear, but I like to just stamp them and then just set them off to the side so that they'll dry for a little bit. But be sure and use the Memento, because if you use the regular classic stamping pad, it will smear when you try to color. So that is something to keep in mind. So we did that, or so I did that. That's the little Santa. And then for the banner that's on here, the little banner, I thought this was a good one. I used the Nested Essential Dies. See, it's got all those sizes. I thought that was a cute little banner, and it would fit really good on there. So I went ahead and I cut that out in the Granny Apple Green. And what I'm going to do with that is I am going to take these stars, or sorry, these snowflakes here. I'm going to go ahead and stamp those in the Versamark so that it gives them that watermark look. So just kind of do that. And then just kind of stamp it on there. So there we go. There is our, you see, it just gives a little bit of a shadow effect or watermark effect of the snowflakes on there. I really like that look. So I'll get that Versamark cleaned off of my stamp. Okay, now I'm going to use the Sweet Wishes stamp. I thought that one was a cute one to put on there. And I am going to use the Garden Green. Since I'm using the Granny Apple, that light green for the paper, I'm going to use the Garden Green to actually stamp the sentiment. And I'm going to put my little banner so it's going that way. So then kind of right there in the middle. There we go. Our Sweet Wishes. Get our stamp cleaned off. Okay. Now to add it on there, I did put a little bit of ribbon on that prototype. Funny thing, I thought that we had some real red ribbon. I had this laying on my desk, and I must have gotten it from something else, like something that I had was looking at. So I thought, oh yes, I'll use that real red ribbon. We don't have real red ribbon. I don't know where I got that. So I will be using the Cherry Cobbler satin ribbon when I do this one. I am not sure at all where I got that real red ribbon. It's beautiful. It matches perfectly. I wish I had more of it. But what I will do here, I used the ribbon on that, but I think I'm going to put some of this white baker's twine behind it instead, because I think that'll be really cute as well back there. And I'll just loop it around so that it'll kind of be hanging over the sides. And I may cut that piece off of there. But there, that looks pretty. And then I think I just attached that like it was. Yeah, I did. So I will go ahead and put a couple more marks of the adhesive down so that I know it'll attach really well. Okay, go ahead and pop those treats out of there. And so I just kind of want that to kind of hang over the side like that. And I'll go ahead and cut that little tail off of there because I don't need to be so long. So there's that, and then I'm going to pop up the Santa with dimensionals. That I do want. I want him to be popped up with dimensionals. So we'll just put several dimensionals on the back here. And then one right in the middle. I want to be sure he's held on there really good. So we'll get those backings off, those dimensionals. Okay. And then you just kind of put your little Santa on there and push him down. Okay. And then you can put your little chocolates in there. Get them situated in there. And then you can take your pretty ribbon. You could take more baker's twine, whatever you wanted to do, and thread it through that little hole that was created from the tag. And then I'll cut that off about there. Go ahead and tie that in just a little tiny fancy knot, or you can do even more. So there you go. There is your cute little treat bag. We'll get that tied up. I still would like to know where I got this ribbon. I was searching all over, high and low, for that ribbon. Could not find it. So there is our cute little treat bag. Like I said, you could do this again, more little treats for your coworkers, little treats to put on your tree. If you do have any craft fairs left that are going on, the month of December, they really are kind of quick because you can put them through the die cutter, get those out of there and then color and stamp those little Santas. Or you could even just put a little star on the front out of the pattern paper. So, but they're really cute. I think they're really cute to give to my coworkers this Christmas. So thank you for sticking with me with project number 2, and I will be back with project number 3, which is a nice simple card. Hi there, and welcome to, this is day 3 of week 4 of 4 weeks of homemade Christmas. Again, this week I am featuring the products from the Sweetest Star bundle with the stamp set and the star punch. I am also featuring the paper from the Take a Bow paper pack. They're all 6x6 papers. I don't think I ever mentioned that, but they're all 6x6 papers. So today is going to be, or today's project, day 3 project was a simple card. I using one of the card sketches from the annual catalog on page 22 of the annual catalog. They have all these nice little card sketches, and I saw that one, and so I'm going to do that one. See how it's the 3 strips and then the sentiment and then ribbon. So let's go ahead and get started making this. First off, I'm starting with your regular card. That is a sheet of 8.5 by 5.5 paper, and then it is scored at the 4.25 to make your regular card. We're going to do that, and then I am using the other paper is going to be 4 by 5.25, and then that's going to just center on the front of your card. And then you have the 3 strips, and these 3 strips are all, sorry, I got glue on that one already. They are all 1 inch wide by 4.25 inches long, and you can use whatever pattern you want to use of them. So to start with, I did do a little bit of stamping on the back of that piece of paper. So I am going to use the star pattern, the snowflake pattern that's in the stamp set, and I'm going to use the Versamark, and I'm just going to stamp around. Since the paper is the strips of paper are kind of going to hide most of this, you don't really need to stamp a lot, but I'm just going to stamp. I'm actually going to kind of stamp the 4 corners because those you do see, so I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, and then you can, if you want to, you can kind of stamp the center there so that there is a stamp in the center. There you go. So we'll get that Versamark cleaned off of that stamp. Okay. There we go with that. And then we'll close up that Versamark so I don't end up sticking my finger in it or something. And now we will put our strips on. And I like to take and put the center strip first so that I can center it on there really well. And since that's 4 inches wide, we're going to do it like right in the middle around 2. So, and that's just me. I like to have something to base it off of. Now we'll go ahead and put those other pieces on, and we'll just use you can use your glue or use your adhesive, whichever works best for you. Am I going down? There we go. Wasn't going right at first. It's so narrow. It's hard to get it going. I think it's caught up in there. So it is. Okay, let me grab another adhesive. If I have one around here, let me see. I'll have to use my mono adhesive for now. Okay, and just kind of put that one, center it between the edge and the center one there. And then this one. Okay. And the same here, just kind of put it in the center there. Okay, now I am going to put some of the frayed ribbon around the bottom, and I have a little knot there, but what I did was I wrapped it around that piece and then I tied that on top of it. So I'm going to go with my adhesive just a little ways up on the back, because that's what I'm going to attach my ribbon to here on the back, and then bring it around. So we'll just kind of put that in there on the side a little bit, bring it around, just so that we can attach it a little bit here, and then I will cut that off. Okay. So there we have that, and then I just took that and I tied it, but I'm going to go ahead and attach this to my card. As you can see, I did a little bit of pattern on the back too. So I was testing on it. So nothing wrong with using sheets to test with. Okay. So I believe I've got all the sides. Okay, now we will take this piece and we will just center it on our card front. Okay. So there we go. Kind of press a little bit there where your ribbon is. And then, like I said, I just took the ribbon and I just took a little piece here and I'm just going to tie a little knot with it. If I can remember how to tie a knot. So just take it, tie your knot, and then cut it off of there. And if your little tails are a little longer than you want, you can go ahead and cut them down. So there we go with that. Now for the sentiment, I did take my 2.5 inch, or sorry, 2 3/8 inch circle punch, and I used the Granny Apple green color, and I just punched a circle with it. So we'll do that. Pop that out of there. Okay. Now I'm going to be using, and I'll go ahead and pop my Santa out of his as well. So get my star punch, and I've already pre-colored my Santa. I did that when I was coloring the others. So we'll go ahead and get our Santa popped out of there. Okay. Now as you can see, my Santa is kind of at the bottom, so I'm going to do the sentiment up here in the top. And I'm using the May Your Days Be Merry and Bright sentiment. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that in the garden green, because it is the darker green and it looks really good with this light green. So we will go ahead and do that. I was trying to find my little mat. There it is. Okay, so we'll go ahead and stamp that. Like I said, you kind of want it up at the top of your circle, because your Santa's going to be taking up a little bit of this bottom space. So there we go. We'll get our stamp cleaned off. Get that put back in there. And get our ink closed before I stick a finger in there. Okay, and so for the Santa, I am going to take my glue dots and I'm going to put a little dot on his little, on the little mitten there. There it is. So just right on that point of his mitten, pop it off of there. And then his head, I'm also going to put a little glue dot. Okay. So then we can kind of put him here. And now these two pieces, I'm going to pop them up with dimensionals. So just kind of put dimensionals all over a little bit. You want to make sure that it pops up there really well. And then I'll do one more in the center. Okay. So we'll pop all of those backs off of those dimensionals. Getting those little backs off when you have so many. There's a lot of them. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and, not on that one since that one's already got the sentiment, we're going to go ahead and place our sentiment right there. Okay, and now I'm going to take the cute little real red and white peppermints. Those things are so cute. And then we'll just put these little things right along the... So there you go. Now there's those two, and then the inside of the card I went ahead and took a piece of white and cut it at 5 4 1/4 and put a strip of the pretty DSP at the bottom. So you can do that. But I also stepped the card up a little bit. This one I used the Forever Plaid embossing folder for that background piece, and I did, so I embossed that piece, and then for the circle I used the Spotlight on Nature dies for the circle. So I think both are just perfect the way they are. So there you go with the card for day 3. I hope that you have fun making that card, and I think the simple version, they really do go really quick, cutting all those strips and then just do them all in a row. They really do go quick. So thank you for sticking with me with day 3, and I will be back with day 4, the final day, and a cute little treat holder. So I will be right back. Well, hello and welcome to the final project, day 4 of the 4th week of 4 weeks of Homemade Christmas. This project, again, these projects are made with the Sweetest Star bundle, stamp and punch, and with the Take a Bow DSP, 6x6 DSP. So this project, it's a very old project. It is the sour cream pouch. And our 6x6 papers make the perfect size pouch. So to start with, I'm going to just take one of the sheets, and you're going to go around all 4 edges, or sorry, 3 edges, and I'm going to use my tear and tape for this. So just take your tear tape and try to get as close to the edge as you can. And my shakes are kind of bad tonight, so it might take me a few seconds to get it going. So, and then just take it all the way to the end. Take it, do it along this side. And like I said, we're just going to go along 3 sides. Well, I'm back. My phone died as I was taking off the strips of tear and tape. As I was going about, I said that I did tear and tape on 3 sides of the DSP. And so I've already removed one side here. So we will remove the other sides now. Do it on this side so I'm not sticking my finger in that tape. Okay, so now we have our 3 sides. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the side that doesn't have any tape and we're going to round it, and we're going to have the side that does have tape go on top. So just kind of line it up as best you can on the top and then on the bottom, and then press that along there. You can set it on the table and press it together as best you can. Okay, now we've got our seam right there in the middle. We're going to try to put that seam right down the middle and press the end together. So now we have our little treat bag, and we have tape there as well. So now you can fill your treat bag with whatever kind of treats you want. I bought some of the little Hershey's Nuggets and I wanted to see how, excuse me, I got a little frog in my throat. I wanted to see how big a sheet of paper would be to go around it. So I took my little measuring tape and I went around it, and it looks like it needs to be at least 3 inches, maybe a little more. So I'm going to say 3 1/8. And then 1 inch would be sufficient. So 3 1/8 by 1 inch. So I took and cut the DSP, and I cut it at 3 1/8 by 1 inch, and then I wrapped that around my little nugget. So you just wrap it around there, and then I took my adhesive, or you could take tear and tape, and that's what I actually have on me. So I'm going to take a piece of this tear and tape. Let's see which way I want to do this again. And I'm just going to put it on the very end here. I've seen some people, some other people that have done this, and they've actually taped it to the candy bar as well. I'm not going to do that. I like it that it just kind of slides on and off. So I'm okay with that. So we will go ahead and take that off of there. And then we'll just wrap our little piece of paper around there and push it down. And so then we can just fill our little bag with all these little candies. Now, if I can get them to go in there well, I was able to get 6 of them in there when I did it before. So it just depends on how they fall in there. But then when you get as many as you want in there, you want to do your thing the opposite way. So in this one, since that crease is going that way, we want this crease to go the opposite way. So now we're going to squeeze that closed. And there. Now we have a little sour cream pouch style treat bag. Now you can, if you want, you don't have to do this. If you have a crimper, and I have a very big crimper, so it's a little harder to do, but you can go ahead and stick your end in there and then crimp that end just slightly. And I don't know if you can see that. See how I crimped that end? So you don't have to do this. If you don't have a crimper, you don't have to do it. But if you do have a crimper, it's kind of cool. Gives it that real sour cream pack feeling. So then what I did was I put a little bit of a little cute little thing on the front. So I've already colored my little Miss Santa Claus. And for coloring her, I used the Real Reds blends. I did that for her little outfit, the light Real Red and then the dark Real Red for some of the highlights. For her face and her skin tone, I used the medium light 700. And then for her little cheeks, little rosy cheeks, I used my Pretty in Pink, my light Pretty in Pink. And so also skin tone for her hands. And then for her apron, I used the Granny Apple Green, and I used the light on her apron front, and then I used the dark for the apron belt. And then for her boots, I used the light basic black. And then for her hair, just to put a little light gray highlights, I used the Smoky Slate to put some little gray highlights in her hair. And so that's how I colored Mrs. Claus. And then we will take our stamp, or our punch, and we're going to punch her out of there. So we'll just kind of center her in that punch. There we go. Pop her out of there. And kind of the nice thing about these right now, today, 11:30, this punch is actually out of stock, but it should be back in stock on 12/2, so on Monday 12/2. But the nice thing about these little guys is that you can very easily cut them out if you want to, if you don't have the punch. So that is something you can do. And then I also used one of the dies from the Peaceful Season. I used this little banner die, and I cut that out, or used the machine to cut that die out, and then I'm going to use that for the sentiment. So, and then the sentiment that we're going to use is the Sweet Wishes. So we'll get that out there, and I'm going to use the Garden Green because I'm using the Granny Apple Green for the actual paper, and Garden Green goes really well on that. So we will go ahead and stamp that sentiment on there. And you just kind of want to center it on there. So there you go. Now we'll get our stamp cleaned off. Okay. Get that closed back up. Okay, and then to put that on her, you can actually use a little bit more tear and tape, because that's, like I said, that's what I have on me right here at my desk. So we're just gonna put that across that back there. So we'll do that. I always like to press it down to make sure it's on there really well. And then we'll take off the backing, and I kind of put that on there just at an angle. Now I am using, I feel really kind of bad, and you don't have to use these, but I was using the Peppermints, but they are out of stock, and they won't be back in stock for actually quite a while. So if you would like, if you want to put some little embellishments on there, you can also do that. You can take the real red and take the dark real red, and you can color. I have the little iridescent pearls, and you can color those. And I think those will be just as pretty. They're not the little peppermints, but they do still add something to the banner here, to the sentiment. So go ahead and do that. And as you can see, I colored two of them, but I didn't color one of them. But so there you go. You can still add a little bit of pizzazz to it. And then I'm actually going to put it on the little treat pouch with the dimensionals. And I'm just going to put the dimensionals straight down the middle. So we will just go right down the middle with several of these dimensionals. There we go. I think I can get 4 of them. Yep. Okay. So we will go ahead and get the backs off of these dimensionals. Okay. And then just put that right there on the center of that little treat bag. And there you go. You've got cute little sour cream style treat pouches. So those are the 4 projects that I made. I hope that you found a project that will work for you and that you will have fun making maybe gifts for your coworkers or just your greeting card for Christmas. I thank you so much for sticking with me this week and for the last 4 weeks. I really enjoyed making different projects from the different bundles, and I hope that you found something that you want to make and share with your coworkers, your family, your friends. If you have any questions about anything, please be sure and message me. I'm on Facebook. You can join my group. I'll have a link below. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me, and very happy holidays. I hope you guys have truly, truly very merry and bright happy holidays. Thank you so much.